Hey YouTube, I'm Naomi the Plant Mama. Today's video is going to be about container gardening for beginners. I'm going to go through the steps that I took to start my um, vegetable garden. Right now I am growing tomatoes and green peppers along with some cucumbers in my garden bed, but I just want to show you the steps that I'm going to take so that you can start your very own. And this is primarily for those who have a very small space like a balcony or a porch, or you don't have a very big backyard, or you just want something very low maintenance to start growing vegetables and or fruits. So we'll begin and I hope you enjoy. Okay, so in order to start your container garden, the first items that you will need, or the items that I typically use, is some potting mix, black cow manure. You're going to need a hand trowel, some gloves, a drill, a 5-gallon bucket to drill some holes at the bottom for drainage, and of course the plant that you're going to put inside the 5-gallon bucket. You really only need one plant per bucket, because this here is a tomato plant and it will grow huge and it will need all of the space for the roots to grow. So you only need one plant per bucket. Okay, and we're going to get started. So here I drilled about 5 holes on this bucket for drainage. You really don't need any more than that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is start adding my soil to the 5-gallon bucket. And so I'm going to fill this midway up to the middle of the bucket, and then I'm going to add the black cow soil or manure. So now that the bucket is filled halfway with the potting soil, I'm going to fill up the other half of the bucket with the black cow fertilizer, and this will help keep the plant healthy. Okay, so now that the soil is at the very top of the bucket, I'm going to dig a hole for the plants, and I'm going to dig it deep enough so that the roots of the plant can get a little strong. So I'm going to pull this out. What I usually do is just kind of loosen up the roots here, and I'm actually going to plant this as deep. Usually I try to plant it, I try to cover the first few stems, and it's okay if only a little bit of it is poking out, because what's going to happen is the roots are going to, it's going to make the roots a little bit stronger. So this will actually grow up to be a pretty big, strong tree. So plant it as deep as it will go, and you do it just like that. Okay. And it should look like this. So to water your plant, once it's in the soil, now I screwed off the little top piece so that it doesn't sprinkle all over the plant. But what I'm going to do is water at the very base of the plant. And what you want to do is water this. Oops, excuse me. Water this until you see the water dripping out the very bottom of the plant. That's how you'll know if you have really good drainage and the water will reach all of the roots. Once the plant grows and the roots spread all the way down, you want to water it as deep as possible until you start seeing water pool out. So that's the water pooling out. That lets you know that you have good drainage when the water is pooling out of the bucket. Here are the tomato plants that I planted about 3 weeks ago. So this is what it would look like after 3 weeks. Usually I just put some mulch at the very bottom of where the stems are. So this is what will keep the soil moist, especially in hot weather here I'm in Georgia and it gets really hot, so when you water your plants you want to mulch it at the very bottom so that the soil stays moist and keeps the roots protected. And you can just use anything for mulch. I've collected some tree shrubs, old leaves, and just kind of crumbled them up and put them at the bottom of the base of the plant. So these are what my plants look like 3 weeks later. Getting really tall. So here's my new tomato plant. This is a Better Boy tomato plant. And you want to make sure that you have an area that will allow at least 8 hours of sunlight. So this is the part of the front of my house that gets the most sun, at least 8 hours. So the more sun, the better, and the healthier the plants will grow. So and that's that. Those are the steps to starting your container garden.